Hey everybody. Alright. Sorry it's a little dark. I'm in my room. But today we are going to go over the Athame versus the working knife, also known as the Boline. I know this is very back to basics. This is part of why I haven't done anything on spellcasting and herbology and that sort of thing yet. I'm trying to make sure we have all the basics down. And I realized the other day that certain people, let me rephrase, different people learn differently. And some people do great with bookwork, reading, whole 9 yards. Some people cannot. And need videos for that reason. Due to either, at least in the case that I'm aware of, it's because they do not pay attention to details. They speed through it and aren't actually retaining the information. They see speed reading through it as more of an accomplishment of being able to say they read the book than actually understanding it. Me personally, I would much rather read slower and actually grasp the information. But today we're going to go over the Athame versus the working knife, also known as the Boline. An Athame is a ceremonial dagger. It's a key ritual tool in witchcraft, Wicca, more specifically in neo-paganism in general. It's not used for physically cutting anything. It is used to direct magical energy, cast circles, and channel intent. It typically features a black handle and a double-edged blade. Remember, it is a dull blade. Typically there is no sharpness to it. I could slice it across my hand and it would do nothing. You can find them made of resin, crystal, metal, wood. I've seen all different types. But any double-edged bladed knife will work. But please use a dull blade regardless, for safety reasons. As long as it calls to you, it'll work. It symbolizes masculine energy, the element of fire, and the connection between the divine god and goddess. It's often used with the chalice, which is feminine water, in sacred rites and rituals. I have seen it used in lesser banishing rituals, in casting circles. A lot of rituals, they will use it. A working knife, also known as a boline, or a bolin. Someone in the comments, please tell me what the correct pronunciation is. I'm going to call it a bolin because it makes more sense. But anyways, a bolin is different. It still sounds wrong. It's going to have to be boline. I'll just call it a working knife. This knife is what you use for cutting and carving. By definition, it is a white-handled knife, often sickle-shaped, used in Wiccan or witchcraft practices for practical physical tasks such as cutting herbs, carving candles, and trimming wicks. which differentiates it from the ceremonial energy directing Athame. It is a working tool for the physical world. It symbolizes the harvest, life-death cycles, and pruning for healthier growth. Realistically, any knife would work that is not double-edged. For example, my husband has a butterfly knife that he has decided is our Athame. He said it's because it bit him, which is true. He was playing with it and cut himself, and he decided that's the Athame. But I have a pocket knife that I use as my working knife, that I use when I work on carving into candles and making wands and things like that. So it's like two different concepts. And Athame is typically kept dull, like I said before, because its purpose is focusing energy, not the practical uses which we typically use a knife for, because it is strictly ceremonial. A bowline, or a working knife, on the other hand, is to be kept sharp, because it is meant for practical things, cutting and carving, which is also why it is referred to as a working knife. Me personally, I never found my personal Athame. My husband's is kind of the family Athame, I guess, though I'm wanting to get a more traditional one. Working knives, we've got a couple. More than a couple. I have one or two that I prefer to use with witchcraft-esque, pagan-esque type things. But that's just me. And it's one of those to each their own things. And the working knife does not have to be fancy. It does not have to have a white handle. It doesn't have to be a sickle. Traditionally, the traditional old-fashioned way is a sickle. But realistically, in this day and age, any knife will work, as long as it is not dual-edged. But anyways, I'm probably going to be doing a few more of these super basic, like, descriptions, understanding your tool type videos. I already have another one. I've already got it written up. I just need to record it on the cauldron. And then I need to figure out which one I'm doing next. Some of them will probably be like, I'll combine a couple into one video. That way it will actually span close to a 10-minute video. Like, I might do bells and chalices together or something of that nature. I'm just spitballing. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do. But on that note, if you have not subscribed, please do. And I will catch you soon with the video on the cauldron. Thank you. Everyone have a great day. Bye.